Hey everyone, what is going on? So we have another video for you today, and these are my battles that I did, and yeah, I mean, I did really well with this team, continuing to climb up and up and up in the 2900s, and it's going to be Aridos in the lead with Double Water, Alomomola, and Milotic. So of course Double Water going to really not appreciate that Hisui and Electrode should be better one. That's why I put Aridos in the lead, and yeah, I mean it worked out really well, as I said, for me. And yeah, Milotic is single moved. For the record, you do want a double moved, of course, but I just have it, I just didn't invest in it. I probably want to try and get a better IV one. Same with Alomomola, because Alomomola is really common and really good in this Love Cup. So I probably want to get a better one during this Valentine's Day event. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive right into the battles, see what we got going on for us. I saw that Charizard come in, so I'm immediately going to go ahead and switch into a Alomomola once the Charizard came in. And this is beautiful because I know the Milotic is going to have a great time against that Charizard, right? So basically all I want to do is get this Aridos low. I don't really have to worry about shielding. I'm not going to shield this one. It's not going to KO me, but even if it did, I don't really care. Lunge is going to connect, and my opponent will be able to get off another attack. This one's going to be a Cross Poison. This will KO me, but that is totally fine. Again, let the Alomomola go down. I know the Milotic is going to do well. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Cross Poison immediately if they let it go. This is great for me. And my opponent will let it go, and I'm going to switch immediately. And yeah, we know we survive. I know I survive a Blast Burn. I survive a Dragon Claw. Plus, I have a shield anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and invest the shield right now into my shiny Milotic, and I'm going to be able to take this game. Good game to my opponent. Well played to them. But yeah, we're going to be able to win that one. Very nice. You'll have to see it. You'll have to see it. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. It's going to be that Aridos into Medicham. Okay, we do resist the counter attacks, right? So that's good. Psychic is super effective. I'm going to go ahead and throw the lunge before my opponent can get off a Psychic. Yes, pretty good, pretty good. Although obviously Psychic would just KOS, but still pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and shield my Aridos because I'm going to call the Psychic, and it is a Psychic, so that is a good shield. The defense draw, which is not great, but the counters are still resisted, and the Psychic is going to KO me regardless, so not really too worried about that. My opponent going to go ahead and switch into Lickitung. So the thing about Lickitung is it does have Power Whip, right? So what I'm going to do is soften up this Lickitung. Well, not really soften it up, lower its attack. If I was softening it up, it would be lowering its defense. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Alomomola so I can take these Power Whips a lot more comfortable, right? I can take that Power Whip. I could even take another one. I'm going to go ahead and farm up and throw the Psychic right now. See what my opponent decides to do. My opponent will let it go, and one more Waterfall, but they do get off and a Power Whip. But because I used a lunge, I will be able to survive this Power Whip. Alomomola is a real thick tank. So thank you so much, Alomomola, for tanking 2 Power Whips from that Lickitung. And in comes Chansey. When I saw the Chansey, I was like, oh my gosh, my opponent with the timeout strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this Psychic, and so basically what I'm thinking is I want to make sure I have an extra Pokemon that they do, so right, that's why I switched out. I have 3 Pokemon right now. My opponent has 2. They have that Chansey. They also have that Medicham, right? So I'm going to go ahead, just throw this Surf right now. This was on CMP, and it's fine. My opponent going to go ahead and throw an attack. I was expecting Hyper Beam, but I'm going to go ahead and let it go, and it is Hyper Beam. So my opponent is going to switch into Medicham, and I'm going to immediately throw the Surf. That's why I farmed up a lot of extra energy. My opponent letting it go, but can I farm this down? Ooh, not quite, not quite. I want to make sure they only have that 1 Pokemon left, but I do let this go. It will KO me, but I will be able to farm down with the Aridos. Alomomola is almost gone, but I'm going to bring in the Aridos and farm down, get ahead on energy, a lot of energy, very nice. Chansey coming in. Now I am weak to Zen Headbutt, which is a little bit scary, but at least I'm going to be able to debuff the Chansey, right? And Chansey is pretty low, but it's so thick. So I'm going to be able to throw another lunge right now. So this lunge is going to connect. My opponent is not going to shield that. Zen Headbutt is not a good move. It's good on Chansey because Chansey's, you use it as a wall, so that's why it's not like KOing us like immediately, right? We can still take a lot of attacks. I'm gonna go ahead and charge up enough for 2 attacks. I do go ahead and throw the Cross Poison right now, and then I throw a lunge. So this lunge is going to debuff, but it actually doesn't KO. And I'm trying to farm down, and look at that. We actually go down with a Cross Poison. I wasn't even clicking on it because I didn't think I was going to be able to get to it, so I wasn't even paying attention to it. But I can bring in my Alomomola and just farm down and take that win. Very close game. You saw the timer coming out as well, so we're able to win that one. Good game to my opponent. Moving on, we have a pretty good lead, but my opponent going to switch into Seaking. So Seaking is a triple legacy Pokemon, another great Pokemon for this meta. I don't have the triple legacy moveset on any Seaking, so I do have to invest in that in the future. But it's Poison Jab, Drill Run, and Icy Wind. All three moves are legacy, so they require elite TMs. But who knows if they'll bring them back in the future for a Go Battle day. They might do that. That's why I'm holding off on it. They might do that in the future. But I'm just going to go ahead and switch into my Alomomola now. And, you know, I mean, this thing, its attack, it was debuffed, right? We got a shield. I could just easily farm down, and that's what I'm going to. Actually, my opponent, I think switches before I could farm down. They do, but I still get a lot of energy. They switch into their own Alomomola, but I'm ahead on energy. I could throw a couple Psychics. I'm not really worried about Alomomola now. Be able to get to a second one, and I do get to a second Psychic. You'll love to see it. Very nice. And that Psychic is going to connect. Yeah, my opponent will be able to get off a Psychic before I get to one, and here comes the Psychic. But I'm going to be able to take it just fine. Not just fine. Actually picking up that defense drop. I think they would have farmed me down even if my opponent didn't get that defense drop. But either way, it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and bring a Milotic and go for the Waterfall down. My opponent will be able to get to a Psychic, so I am going to go ahead and shield this one. And my Milotic is going to attempt to farm down. We actually get another defense drop. Really unfortunate, but I'm going to go ahead and go for the Surf. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch into Ariados. I do have to watch out for the Psychic, right? And I do get to this lunge, which is nice. So this lunge is going to connect and debuff the Medicham. And I believe I let this go, right? I do let it go. I do anticipate Ice Punch. Yeah, I mean, Ice Punch makes sense. My opponent going for the farm down. Actually, well, you know what? Because I debuffed them, my opponent threw the Ice Punch. But the thing is, we were able to get to that cross poison, right? If they threw the Psychic, I wouldn't have gotten to the cross poison. My Milotic would have been able to handle it anyway. I shield the Psychic, which is good. And look at this Milotic go. Milotic's going to take this Drill Run just fine, and it's going to be able to take out all three of my opponent's Pokemon. You absolutely love to see it. Alomomola going down, and now the Surf will KO the Medicham, but my opponent will concede. So Milotic obviously didn't take them all down from full health, but it took them all, which was pretty cool, right? Good game. Moving on, we do have a Lickitung lead. My opponent leading with that Lickitung. Okay, I mean, I'm down. You know, as I was battling this Lickitung in the lead, I was thinking how I wanted to play it. I figured I would probably, well, obviously I would debuff with Lunge, and I would shield the first attack because I'm going to be able to debuff them again. So I'd rather shield this attack. Even though they are debuffed once, I'd rather debuff them twice, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do just that. If they get to another Body Slam, it's going to do even less damage. So I'm going to debuff with Lunge. And my opponent will be able to throw this attack, this Body Slam, but I'm going to be able to take it. And I think I overfarm. I am overfarming, and I do overfarm, and I go ahead and go for the Lunge right now. This will KO or get a shield, and my opponent will let it go. And in comes Magcargo, and similar situation to Charizard, I'm going to go ahead and immediately bring in my Alomomola because I know I have a Milotic in the back for that Magcargo. And Magcargo is double weak to Waterfall, which is better than seeing the Charizard on the opposing side, right? So I do shield that because I figure, you know, I don't really need a shield for Milotic. At least that's what I was thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Psychic, pick up a shield, get the defense drop, which is actually nice. A lot of defense drops with Psychic in this in these battles. But my opponent will go ahead and throw a Psychic, and I don't live it. So I'm going to bring in Ariados and go ahead and throw the Cross Poison. I think that was a mistake. I think I should have thrown the Lunge. But my opponent does shield it up. I remember that. They switched, and I tried to switch out, but unfortunately I was not able to before my opponent KO'd me. So my opponent will get to an attack, and it's actually going to be a Stone Edge. But Stone Edge is not going to be enough to KO. And I do have a Surf ready to go, and I'm going to be able to take this game. That was actually a close game. It was a good game. Well played to my opponent. I'm going to be able to take that one. Good game. Yeah, really well done. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Here we go. It's going to be Ariados into Electrode. Hisuian Electrode. So, as I mentioned earlier in the video, Hisuian Electrode is a problem for the back line. That's why I have Ariados with me. So Aridos gonna go ahead and go for this lunge, and I think I pivot out into Alomomola. Yep, I'm using Alomomola as the safe swap. My opponent gonna be able to throw an attack right now. I think I take it. I do take it. It's gonna be a power up punch. I'm glad I took it. I didn't expect. I expected a psychic. So this may be where I made a mistake. I don't shield this attack, and this one's going to be the psychic. And well, I guess they're neutral. I debuffed them. They boosted, but still, I mean that could have shielded that, because I was like, oh man, now they're gonna win switch because they're gonna be able to shield to go for power up punch. But no, they actually let it go, which is good for me because now I can realign Aridos onto this Electrode, and my opponent, very well done, very good counting. Gonna go ahead and throw before I can get off a psychic, but that's fine because we still have alignment, which is ultimately what we want, right? So I'm gonna bring in the Aridos right now, and my opponent is gonna go ahead and throw what I assume to be a wild charge, and it is gonna be a wild charge. So I'm gonna go ahead and shield that. That will do a lot of damage to my Aridos. My opponent with the switch, I'm gonna go ahead and debuff my opponent right now with the lunge. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch, and I guess go for well, oh no. So what I do is, okay, I let this attack go. I actually let them take out my Milotic. So I'm going to take this Sludge Bomb, and I'm going to go ahead and stop attacking right now. This is not lag. I deliberately stop attacking because I want them to take me out, because I don't want them to get farm with that Electrode, right? Because my water attacks are resisted because it's a grass typing. So I want to get a lot of farm, not a lot, but a decent amount of farm, and out comes the Electrode. And 2 cross poisons will be enough to get both shields. I mean, my opponent has to shield. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this cross poison, and there's a shield. We do get the buff. The buff doesn't really matter. Actually, maybe I could have farmed down. It doesn't really matter. But either way, it will be a wild charge. I'm going to be able to throw the cross poison. I lost count of where my opponent was in terms of energy, so I wasn't sure if they had 2. But if they did, I'm going to be able to get off this cross poison first, and I'm going to be able to take that game. So good game, well played to my opponent, and we're going to be able to win that one. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. I know this game. Yep. Shadow Slowbo, Shadow Slowking. Really, really cool team. I wanted to see what attack it was before I switched, and it's confusion. I've seen what I haven't personally seen it, but I've been hearing stories of people running Water Gun Slowbro. So I wanted to see what attack it had first. That's why I took the attack. So my opponent is stayed in. Obviously at this time I don't know they have a Shadow Slowking, or was it a Shadow? But either way, I know they have a Slowking. I didn't know at the time. So my opponent maybe going, they're actually going for that farm down, I guess, which allows me to get to another Psychic, which is really good. Because I'm going to be able to KO them or get the shield, and I do get the shield, and the defense drop allows me to win switch. But here comes the Slowking. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, that's why they didn't switch out. So I'm going to bring in my Milotic. I don't want to bring in Ariados, right? I mean, obviously the Confusions are doing a lot. I don't know what's in the back at this point in time. I'm going to go ahead and shield this one up. Going to be that Psychic. And I'm going to be able to throw Surf attacks. Of course, I mean, the Slowbo and Slowking just, like, do well against my whole team. Because, like, the thing is, they both resist the Waterfall damage, right? I'm going to be able to throw another Waterfall. And my opponent will let it go. And when I saw they let it go, I'm like, they probably have, it's got to be an answer to Ariados. And it is, because I know they have Psychic, right? And because they have a shield advantage, or because I don't have any shields, I should say. This is okay if we have a shield, but because we don't have shields, they can freely go for Psychic. So my opponent will go ahead and go for the Psychic. It will KO me, and yeah, it's going to be a good game. Well played. Really cool team by my opponent. Love to see it. Let's go ahead and move into the next battle. But yeah, I was really impressed with that team. Very well done. Good. I don't think my opponent was legend. Good luck to you, my friend, if you were not legend. I don't think you were legend yet, but hopefully you can make it. But anyway, moving on to the next game. It's an Ariados mirror match. I'm going to be able to win CMP, which is really nice because the incoming lunge attacks will do less to me than mine are doing to my opponent, which is always nice to see. And yeah, I mean, I don't have a good IV1. I have like a high attack, right? So yeah, I expected to win CMP. I'm going to go ahead and throw the lunge. My opponent is going to go ahead and throw a lunge as well. Totally fine. Going to be able to take that. But my opponent switches into Lickitung, so I'm going to go ahead and, debuff my opponent. And then switch out into a Alomomola because, we want the power-ups to do less, right? To my water types. So I'm going to bring in a Alomomola. My opponent will be able to fire off a Power Whip. but I will be able to take it just fine, as we know. And I don't throw the Psychic immediately. I think I was farming up for the Hydro Pump, but I decided not to throw the Hydro Pump. So I'm going to go ahead and shield that, and yeah, I'm farming up, max energy, throw the Psychic right now. This Psychic is going to pick up the shield and try to get to another one. Not quite. I could shield and farm down. I don't think I do that. Yeah, I just let the Alomomola go. And I bring in the Ariados to go for the farm down. But the problem is, I do get the farm down, but my opponent is going to be able to force my final shield. So maybe, well, if I brought in the Milotic, maybe they may have been able to reach the Power Whip. I think that was the concern of mine. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Cross Poison. This was another mistake. I should have went for Lunge, or I should have switched out immediately. So I bring in my Milotic right now, and my opponent is going to go ahead and go for this Lunge. And in comes Slowbro, and that's when I back out. So good game. No, I don't know. I feel like I couldn't have won that game anyway after seeing that Slowbro. What do you guys think? But either way, good game to my opponent. Well played. So I'm going to go ahead. Obviously, Charizard in the lead is bad, so I'm going to go ahead and go into my Alomomola. Out comes the Lickitung, which they're not debuffed, right? Because obviously I had to switch out right away, so that's not great for me. So I'm going to go ahead and farm up and charge up enough. Obviously, we have enough for the Hydro Pump. I'm going to go ahead and bait with the Psychic and see what my opponent does. My opponent will go ahead and shield, and my opponent is going to go ahead and go for an attack. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this with my Alomomola. It's going to be another Power Whip. Makes sense. And I am going to go ahead and go for this, expecting the shield. I expected them to shield this and go for switch, but my opponent actually does not shield. They do get to an attack, so I was concerned if it's Power Whip. I was like, oh, this is gonna KO me. It's actually Body Slam. I guess they were not at Power Whip, so I do go down a shield, but I am able to win switch, which is huge, and I do make it to another Psychic, which is crazy good for me. So I'm gonna be able to get off this Psychic. Now the issue we do get the defense threat, which is really nice. The issue is the Psychic is, I think, just KOs me, right? I mean, it should probably just KO me. Yeah, it just KOs me. But I bring him in the Milotic right now, and my opponent is going to go ahead and bring in the Charizard. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Surf. This will force the final shield from my opponent, because if it doesn't, it will KO the Charizard. I do survive a Dragon Claw. I do survive a Blast Burn, right? But do I survive 2 Dragon Claws? Are they at 2? My opponent will throw 1. They are not at 2, but I would have barely survived the other one. And my opponent will concede, and that is going to be a good win for us. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.